As we're reading the Bible together through the year 2024, with regard again to the letters of the Apostle Paul, when we come to Ephesians, it's a different kind of letter with a different kind of language. And in fact, there are very early manuscripts of this letter that do not have the greeting to the Ephesians in it. There is writings of Paul that says, read and circulate my letter to the Laodiceans. We don't have a letter labeled to the Laodiceans, but apparently Ephesians is a circular letter that may have gone out and be expected to circulate throughout the churches in various cities. This might be the letter to the Laodiceans that he refers to in another place. Now, some would say that this couldn't be Paul's writings because some of the language and vocabulary and ideas are not like the more certain letters of the that are the writings of the Apostle Paul. Now, writers can make different points at different times to different persons. And the persons who say that, well, this doesn't match the other undisputed writings of the Apostle Paul, somebody who disagrees with that, who's a profound biblical scholar. He's been reading New Testament Greek since the time he was 16 and is a bishop of the Church of England and has been a professor, and I think he still is now teaching at St. Andrews over there in Britain. He says, well, Romans and 1 Corinthians are of a very different style, with very different vocabulary, for very different purposes. You wouldn't say that they are disputable as to being the writings of the Apostle Paul. So, yes, it is a little bit different. Some of the theology is a little bit more refined or in its particulars. And it talks about things in a more cosmic order. That doesn't mean that it isn't the Apostle Paul, but he's writing something very different for very different reasons. And I believe this is a letter where he talks about principalities and powers in the heavenly places. And somebody told me when he's talking about that, it means the things that we create for ourselves, ostensibly for our own good, including governments and agencies and that kind of thing, that when they take on a life of their own so that they're out of our control, it's very like a principality or power that is making more of itself than it needs to. And surely, if you look at the kind of emperor cult promoted by Caesar and the Roman government, clearly that's a great example of a principality or power that claims more authority, even heavenly authority, than is due it to have, and so it causes great trial in the earth and surely will fall. So these are some things to keep in mind. The Apostle Paul is clearly talking about God's huge plan for all of creation and what God has done. And in fact, from what we call verse 3 through about verse 14 is one extended sentence in Greek, is what I'm given to understand. So the Apostle Paul is surely really kind of coming into the fuller ideas of what he has learned, of what Christ has accomplished. So I hope we enjoy some of the differences in the letters of this apostle. I hope this is of some help. Thank you.